Hi everybody, welcome. I'm Chef Rob, and today we are going to get ready for, believe it or not, Thanksgiving on its way. We are going to make some harvest sweet potato muffins. Really good. You will get about 10 to 12 depending on the size muffin tin that you do use. You will make these the day of Thanksgiving. Make the batter in the morning. You can put it in the refrigerator, and then when it's dinner time, when the turkey is coming out and resting, that's when you put these muffins into the oven, and they come out so good. People will go for the muffins more than the turkey, I promise you. So let's get started. We're going to do our dry ingredients, and I'll show you along the way exactly what to do. Okay, we're going to take 1.5 cups of the all-purpose flour. So I'm taking my half cup first. Just make sure it's nice and full, but not packed. Nice and level. Just like that. So we have 1.5 cups of the flour in there. Now I'm going to take some brown sugar. Light or dark is fine for this. I have the light one. I'm taking a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Make sure that is packed in there. You always want to pack the brown sugar. Drop that into your flour mixture. And then we're going to take 1 tablespoon of baking powder. This will give it the rise. Make sure it's level, otherwise it will go too high and they'll be very springy, and they will kind of then crash down a little bit. So we'll make sure that they get a nice rise to it. I want a 1/2 teaspoon of the table salt. Put this in, this way you get all the flavor of all the spices, the sweet potatoes. And now the ground cinnamon. Going to put in 1 teaspoon of the ground cinnamon, like that. And now a 1/4 teaspoon of the nutmeg. The nutmeg's a lot stronger, so you want a lot less. If you're using fresh nutmeg and you grate it, you want even less because that's even stronger. Okay. So we're going to take this. You can either take a whisk, or I have the gloves on. I just want to get all my ingredients nice and combined. You could even, with Thanksgiving being a very busy day, you can always prepare this mixture ahead of time and just cover it and leave it out until the next day, and that would be fine. Okay, just like that. Let's leave that on the side. Okay, so 1 cup of the sweet potato. Sweet potato will have a real deep orange color to it compared to the yam. Sweet potatoes are usually around from the middle of October through the end of December. A lot of times they will come from North Carolina, and they have a lot of a deeper color and taste in there as well. So sweet potatoes are better for this, but I have made this with the yams and it will come out good. So what I did with this was I peeled a sweet potato and then I boiled it as if you were making mashed potatoes. I added nothing to it, and then I strained it and I pressed out any excess water. If you want to make life even easier, just take some sweet potatoes and throw them in the oven. Bake them until they pierce nice and soft. The knife would go right through it. And then when they cool, and you can put 1 cup's worth in here, put it right in this large bowl. It's 1 cup. Now it's a little lumpy, so what I'm going to do is take my electric beater and I'm just going to mix this up just for a couple seconds. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I have 1 stick of butter that I melted, and I am going to add this right into the sweet potatoes. I have a 1/2 cup of the whole milk. Make sure you're using the whole milk. It really does matter in this recipe. Okay. So 1/2 cup of the whole milk. And 1 egg. Bring it to room temperature so it does incorporate in your batter nice and smoothly. And then I am just going to beat this. I am going to take a spatula and just bring everything down from the sides. Okay, so your batter should look just like this, where it's not liquidy, not thick, but just a batter consistency. See how that is, just like that? Perfect. So I have my dry ingredients, my wet ingredients, and now I'm going to take my dry ingredients and I'm just going to gently fold it into the wet ingredients. Don't want to overmix. As soon as you see no flour, you're going to want to stop. You can preheat the oven to 375 for these muffins. They typically, depend on the pan you are using, if you're using a medium-sized muffin pan, figure about 20 minutes for it. If you make them a little higher, up to 25 minutes the most. The way to tell if the muffins are going to be done is if you put your finger kind of on top and it kind of feels like it's going to sink, then it's not done. If it kind of springs back at you, it's ready and they're done. And then just let them cool on a wire rack, because you don't want them to keep cooking. So we're just going to get this all combined. And now this is a time where you can leave these plain. You could add raisins to this. You could add dried cranberries to this. Either way would be really fine. If you like nuts, pecans, walnuts, really, really good in here. Okay, nice smooth batter just like that. So, like I said, you can add whatever mix-ins you like to this. I'm going to add some raisins. I'm going to put in a 1/4 cup of raisins, and these are the dark raisins, but you could also add the golden raisins if you like. Just fold it in the batter nice and gently, and then just stop. These will freeze excellent, and don't do that on Thanksgiving Day though. Make sure that you really make them fresh, because that's a very special day. Okay, so this is nice and combined. Now what I want to do, I'm using these disposable tins because I'm going to give these away. So I'm just going to take a little spray, and I don't want to go into each little tin. I want to do it from a distance, and I want to that quickly. And you can see there's not a puddle of the spray in there, because otherwise you're going to taste that on your muffin. Again, just watch how I kind of do this. Quick spray just like that. Perfect. So now what I would suggest is just take a spoon, because you want to get all of the batter, and you're just going to drop it into the muffin tins. Now this recipe will make in between 10 to 12 muffins. I actually prefer the 10 because I think it just gives it a nicer height to it, and usually people eat just one of these on Thanksgiving because they're very filling and there's so much other stuff. Okay, so what I do is I kind of go around filling all of the muffin tins, and then I can come back with any extra batter that I may have. Remember not to cook them past 25 minutes. It is 375. It definitely will not go past that amount of time. And you can also do this with pumpkin. You can also do butternut squash with this. This would work really well with it. So as you see, these are just about filled up nicely. And now I'm just going to kind of go around to the other ones that might be a little lighter and just top them off. If you are using the dried cranberries, try not to buy the craisins, because the craisins actually have a lot of sugar in them and they're infused with a grape juice. Try to buy the traditional dried cranberry and it will taste so much better. Okay, I think I evened this out pretty well. We are going to put these into our oven now at 375, 20 to 25 minutes, okay? And we'll see how they look. So these came out of the oven about 10 minutes ago. They have cooled down, and it took about 22 minutes. When I was saying about testing it, you want to make sure it kind of springs back at you, and you could do the sides or the top, and if it springs back, it is done. Finger sinks in, still needs a little time. Always take a little piece of aluminum foil and put it on the rack above when you're cooking these. This way they don't get too dark. If you are using raisins or cranberries, always make sure you sink it into the dough. Kind of put dough over it. That way you don't burn the raisin or cranberry, because it can give it a bad taste that way. So this is what they look like. I got 10 of these. You can see they're a nice size and perfect for Thanksgiving, but any time of the year, but especially the fall. So happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Stay well. Sweet Carol.